at some point we have to have a level of mental resolve that says, it doesn't matter how I'm feeling, I need to do this thing. What is up, everybody? And welcome back to the Schooling Struggle Podcast. It is our belief that the only guarantee in life is that we're all going to struggle, and how we choose to embrace our struggles is what empowers us to become the best versions of ourselves. How's it going? My name is Pete Driscoll, coming to you from my basement in Heartland, Vermont, and with me is my friend and co-host Todd Ellis, rocking a big bushy beard, coming to you from Tacoma, Washington. What is up, Todd?
What's happening, Peter? I feel like it's been a long time since we spoke, but I don't think it really has. But what's up?
Yeah, any amount of time is too long. I have some new developments happening in my life. About 2 weeks ago, I went into school feeling totally normal, and partway through my first block of the day, about half an hour into the school day, I just started feeling really, really lightheaded and dizzy. So I sent a message to my principal and said, something's off. I'm not really quite sure. So they sent a sub down, and I went home and just laid in bed. And I laid in bed for 24 straight hours. And then I ended up taking the next 2 days off. I couldn't tell you in 17 years how many times I've taken 3 days off in a row, next to none. And I just felt like super fatigued and super dizzy. And I didn't really know what it was. And then shortly after that, my daughter got sick, was diagnosed with strep. So then I had a sore throat and a headache and all these things. And I thought for sure I had strep. So I went in. The strep test came back negative. But for 2 straight weeks now, I've been incredibly lightheaded and dizzy. It's really odd. The listeners wouldn't know this, but I canceled our regular recording session on Monday because I just didn't have it in me. My world is spinning. It's almost like I'm standing on a boat all the time. Everything's just kind of moving. So I went to the doctor the other day, and they ran me through 2 hours worth of neurological tests and took my blood work and stuff. And the doctor found some bodily fluid way back in my ear canal, and he thinks that I have some form of vertigo. I've never experienced vertigo before in my life. And what was the hard thing was...
What is vertigo? For the listeners that don't know what vertigo is.
So I actually had not even pulled up the official...
in my mind, it's like a constant state of dizziness. Is that
it's like the room around you is spinning and your world is kind of spinning. Or the best way I can put it, my world doesn't spin. It's just almost like I'm on a boat on the high seas.
Oh, okay.
Like it's never really steady.
Weird.
And because of that, my stomach was off because when you're dizzy, like your stomach just is off. So your body thinks that you're moving or you're on the high seas. And so I really wasn't eating or drinking. And because of that, I was just crazy fatigued and was really dehydrated and didn't do a workout for 2 straight weeks and just didn't know what was wrong.
Yikes.
I went to the doctor and he said, I think with the type of vertigo that you might have, working out is not going to make it worse. So for the last 3 days, I've just been doing my workouts so dizzy. I'm like pulling hard on the rower and it feels like I'm actually rowing on the ocean with big waves. And the end of my school day today, it was at a height. I was just so dizzy. It was really, really uncomfortable. And I came home and just crushed the workout. And ever since then, I've felt great. So like the positive vibes you hear in my voice for the last 2 hours, I've just felt so good.
Really?
And
nice.
My world is not shaking. So I don't know if this is another anecdote of why we should be doing workouts, but at least in my world, I didn't expect to be feeling this good after a workout, but I'm seeing straight right now and things are good. So I'll take it.
On an unrelated note, do you have crazy lights down there? Is there like a moth down there maybe?
Maybe. Could be, yeah.
Oh, wow. That was against that black. I was like, what? It looked like comets and shooting stars. I was like, what in the hell he's talking about? All this makes sense. And the universe starts raining stars down.
There must be a moth flying around my head.
Yeah, that was really bizarre.
I didn't know moths could live in weather this cold. Temperatures this cold. My basement's cold. So I've never dealt with any kind of vertigo. One of my best friends suffers from it severely, and my wife Jen suffers from it intermittently. It'll come on really hard for a couple days, and then it'll kind of dissipate.
Wow.
But if that's what it is, I'm okay with it. I was worried it was something with my heart and my blood pressure.
Well, yeah,
and like my lungs. So that's why I didn't work out. But once the doctor said I don't think it's related to any of that, you're good to go. So here I am. Yeah.
I have a side question. Not if you get sick like that or like feel off, do you explore that? Do you like bump up against it? Like you said, I didn't want to work out because I didn't know if it was going to get worse or it would make me more dizzy. Like, do you often I'm just going to see if it makes me more dizzy, or do you just leave it?
Up until the doctor said I could test it a little bit, I didn't. All that felt good was to lay down. So unlike a lot of the vertigo people that I know, when I laid down, everything calmed down. Whereas my wife, when her vertigo hits, if she lays down, that's like the worst thing. Huh. So I watched some good documentaries on Netflix and just kind of chilled out and laid down. But now I'm back in action and I'm eating force feeding and force drinking
good for
water, and I'm feeling better. So yeah.
Awesome. Wow, what a scare! Yeah, get that straightened out.
Here we are.
What do they do next? If like you, so do you feel like the workout just fixed it, or are you just waiting for it happening just to come?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's psychological because I really felt better after, but it very well could be. Huh. The blood work hasn't come back yet, so we're just waiting to see if there's anything else that's going on inside my body that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's dizzying.
So as you know, at the end of every school semester, my high school that I teach at works almost like a college where it's the first semester. And then when that ends, it's like the first day of school all over again. Okay. New classes, new teachers, new rosters, and we run it back for the second half of the year. And at the end of every semester, I always do an activity with my students. I don't know if you want to call it an activity, just called Ask Me Anything. So ask Mr. D anything. And students can ask any question they want. Nothing's off the table. And I read the answers to the full class. They don't know who asked what questions. And I've never had a student ask an inappropriate question, but if a student did ask an inappropriate question, I would just talk to that student one-on-one, and I wouldn't answer to the whole group.
Yeah.
And I get a whole bevy. So last semester I had 3 classes that I taught, and each had 20 kids. So I had 60 questions that I was answering over the last couple of days this semester.
You answer them all, or you just randomly choose?
I answer them all. Yeah.
Nice.
I answer them all. And it's just a really, really wide range. Some are just like light on the surface questions, and some are like crazy deep. Like we could honestly have a podcast to answer this one question for 4 straight hours. So what I want to do tonight in 35 minutes is we're going to go through as many questions as takes up our 35-minute time frame. And we're going to start off with kind of more of the not so deep questions and then transition to some of the deeper ones.
Go.
For the listeners out there, Todd has no clue what these questions are. So he's going to be answering them in real time, which I love to spring on him. And I'm excited to get into Ask Me Anything. I think we'll probably do this twice a year because I do this twice a year in school.
Cool.
Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, always.
So this is how it works. I'll read the question. You can answer it if you want, or you can pass it off to me, and I'll answer it, and then you can answer it after me.
Okay.
We don't have any kind of time frame on this, so however long we need on each question is all good.
Okay. Then I have question number 1. I have to operate the timer that way, so that's handy.
Here we go. How do you like your steak cooked?
There's 2 different answers for me.
Go ahead.
Depends on.
Now I'm really interested.
It depends on the type of steak. So there's a steak place at my house that me and my wife started going to on our anniversary, and that just reminds me that I need to make a reservation. And the steak there is of a different type. I think it's from Australia, or I don't know. I want to say it's Wagyu beef, but I don't think that's what it's called. But anyways, it's like a different type of steak than I would get at my house, and I like that steak cooked medium rare, but most steaks I go for medium well. Yeah.
For me, it doesn't matter what kind of steak it is. If I'm ever out, I don't ever go out to eat, but if I were out to eat, when I order a steak, I just say, cook it as rare as you're allowed to cook it. For me, once that animal takes its last breath and its last heartbeat, walk it through a warm room and I'm good to go. I
wow,
like
really?
Black and blue. Yeah.
Like you would you eat it with your hand? No, I mean, like, would you just, like, if you just happened to upon a steak and you were like, you would just eat it without even cooking it, or you actually want it warmed a bit?
Well, I'd want the outside cooked just to get rid of the, any bacteria or anything.
Any hair that's left on it. Yeah.
Any hair that's left on it. Yeah.
And then that's good.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I love, yeah.
Very interesting.
As rare as possible.
Okay.
All right. Second question. I love this one. So it's so random. It's so great. What do you think is the farthest or the longest you ever walked on your hands?
Not very far. I'm not very good at handstand walk, so I would say maybe 20 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a handstand walking contest with a former student. His name was Jacob. And once a month, we would go head to head. And whoever could walk further claimed that month. And at the end of the school year, whoever had the most months won the handstand walking contest.
Okay.
And the furthest I ever did was I went the entire length of the basketball court, turned around, and went halfway back across the basketball court.
Nice work.
So 1.5 basketball courts is my answer.
Ah, nice. What did Jacob get on that?
On that one, he didn't get as far as me, but
Oh,
he was better at walking on his hands on grass than I was, and I was better on like a clean floor or hallway than he was.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he dealt with the elements better than I did.
That was cool.
All right, next question.
Number 3.
How clean is your car?
Sufficiently clean. Is that a good answer? It's cleaner than my wife's car. How about that?
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
All right.
In Vermont, just with the dirt, I live on a dirt road, and with all the salt up here, I really have zero concern for how clean the outside of my car is. But as I'm getting older, I'm getting a little more neurotic about things being clean or organized. I like to say cluttered space, cluttered brain, organized space, organized brain. And so the spaces that I spend time, I try to keep them organized, and it's getting worse as I get older. But I would say the inside of my truck is 8 out of 10 clean.
Same. Yeah. But the outside, you don't care?
In the mud season, it's 1 out of 10 clean.
Yeah. It's always raining here, so I don't care about the outside, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But
all right. What age did you start working out?
Like for real? With an intent and impact?
Sure.
Probably, what am I now? 46. Maybe 10 years ago. 36.
Okay.
Yep.
Mine was my freshman year in college, so I was 18.
There you go.
I never stepped foot in a gym prior to that. And I walked in there with my buddies because that's what my buddies were doing that night. And I just followed them because I didn't want to sit in my room by myself. And I just stood in the corner of the gym and just watched all these giant football players lifting mass amounts of weight. And I was 120 pounds soaking wet at the time. Could not bench press a 45-pound bar.
Nice.
And yeah, so I was 18, and then I got hooked pretty quickly, and it started to empower me. And then I got really serious about it after I graduated college, and I became a lifeguard down in Disney World, and it was just all about aesthetics. Blizzard Beach. I cared about how I looked. So it was all about the aesthetics there, and that was kind of the next level for me with working out. Was when you lifeguard all day, and then we'd go to the gym and like work out for 2 hours, and then go home and eat.
Well, yeah, right. Chiseled Beach, maybe that's what we should call it. I wonder, when you were telling that story about the first time you went there, do you recall the first time you were with with that group of individuals when you're 18, that you were like, that you felt the tingle of, I just lifted that up. You know what I mean? Like, did you like come out of the corner slow, and then one day they were like, come on, Pete, get on the bench? Or was it just like you slowly start dabbling, and then at one point you were like, this spilled it, I'm done?
I was just expecting everyone to make fun of me because of how weak I was. Like I was embarrassingly weak. Yeah. And they weren't. They were very supportive. They're like, yo, this is how you do the movement, and this is what you do. And
that's cool.
Every time, you want to add weight and you've accomplished what you need to accomplish and you're moving on, like, do it. And all I wanted to do was to be able to put a 25 on each side of that 45-pound bar and bench 95 once. Like, nice. Oh man, if I could ever get to 95, that would be so amazing. And then
2 weeks later.
No, putting on muscle and strength for me takes forever.
Oh,
it takes
really?
So long, even now still. Yeah. But my greedy goal is to one day bench 2 cookies, which is or 2 large pizzas, which is 135, the 45-pounder on each side. And yep, that finally got to that like way later in life. But
yeah, good job.
So I was 18.
Okay. I was older, substantially, so double that age, actually.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is probably Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino flick.
I have a tie. My Shawshank Redemption and Good Will Hunting. And then my comedy is Dumb and Dumber. I've watched Dumb and Dumber. There were different
classifications of movies. You just said your favorite movie. Yeah, I also like Die Hard. That's a pretty good movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big debate, and we won't get into it now.
No, don't do it.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I don't know.
All right. How do you stay consistent when times get challenging for you? And I actually don't know exactly what the student was asking. If they were asking about my mindset, or they were asking about my workout regimen, or how I eat, or how I sleep. I think based on what I know about my students and what their curiosity is about how I operate, that the question was more about my mindset. How does my mindset stay consistent each day?
That's an interesting question. I don't. That's my question. That's my answer. Like I find, I look at all of those aspects that you just mentioned kind of objectively, and I feel like sometimes I do really well in one, which helps me in others, but it's kind of like strengths and weaknesses, like what are the attributes that you have and how do you use those to modify the other attributes around it? Because like I'll fall off my diet. I'll start drinking too much. And then we had the conversation before. Then I'll just come all the way back around, hit the switch, and do as best I can, and then kind of rebalance it, if you will. But I wouldn't say I ever do really well. Yeah, not to a point where I could say that's how I do it. Yep. I don't know. I like intentionality and habit definitely play into that. Like the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, I miss doing that, or I see I get a benefit out of that. Like yoga or meditating, those are those things for me that no matter what, that's the first thing I come back to. So I guess that's my answer is, yeah. How about you?
This is one that we could have a full podcast on. For me, I find a high level of comfort in people who are very consistent. So I actually it doesn't bother me if somebody is rude or mean all the time.
I probably drive you crazy. Sorry.
The way that you're inconsistent is different from what makes me uncomfortable. What makes me uncomfortable is people who are very high one day and very low another day, and I never know what I'm going to get. So if someone is in a bad mood or rude or mean every time I interact with them, like I find comfort there. I'm fine. And it's people who are always kind and respectful and warm. I'm very comfortable there. But it's if people are warm one day and not warm another day, that's where I'm not quite sure where we stand, and I tread lightly. So one of my goals is to be consistent, and
because it drives you so crazy.
Just because it's something that that I aspire to be because it makes me comfortable. I have this mindset that it probably makes other people comfortable too, and that's what I want to provide for them in our connection or in our relationship. So, especially with my students, I try to be consistent. So, if there's stuff going on in my life, I'm able to leave that at the door and present similar each day. And in my mind, that's not being disingenuous. I just think that managing, like the old saying, peace doesn't mean we don't have problems. Peace means that our problems don't have us. And I'm striving to try to be more consistent and not letting the things that are going on in my life hinder or impact the way I present in my relationships. And I think what helps me be consistent is gratitude. So when things are going very well for me, it's easy for me to think of the things that I'm grateful for. And when things are not going great, I've formulated or forged a habit of taking a moment or moments to dig into my gratitude to help flip my mindset. And I find that to be incredibly, incredibly helpful.
Well, how do you, I have so many questions, if you don't mind. How do you do that? I flip through my gratitude. Like, do you have like a book? And you're just like,
I'm reluctant to share this because it almost sounds fake, but it's something that I find that really works. Is when I am legitimately pissed off, when I'm really angry, it's that 29,000 foot view of I can think to myself outside of the context of what's pissing me off right now, and say, "Oh, last night listening to my daughter practice her piano was just so beautiful." And that is awesome. The fact that I am healthy is so amazing. And I can go to those places even in the moments now where I'm really upset. Yeah. And I've been working really hard, and I really do believe that I've trained myself to do that.
I believe it.
It's so unrelated, but I'll be like, yep, like we had an awesome vacation last summer. Like I can do that in the moment where I'm really angry because somebody just cut me off and almost sent me off the highway. Yeah. So
you just create the space and then fill it, right? Like, I mean, that's cognitive. It's CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Like there's a hook and you go, nope, isn't that nice over there? It's like you go into your happy place, like Happy Gilmore, right? Kind of same idea. Yep.
Yeah.
If you know how you made that, you should write that down and sell that to people.
It's a whole different conversation, but there's people out there who, in my opinion, are optimists and people who are pessimists. And the optimists only see through the rosy-colored glasses and don't acknowledge the challenges or the obstacles in life. And then the pessimists only acknowledge the challenges and the obstacles, whereas the realist is what I'm trying to be, is to say, yep, those are challenges, those are obstacles, and this is how I'm going to be proactive to navigate them. That's awesome. And I'm trying to be a realist. And what I'm learning is that people around me see me as an optimist. And that means that I have work to do. A lot of people, and particularly my students, say, oh, you're just so positive. It's nice to be around you because you're so positive. But I'd rather someone look at me and say, you know what? You're real. Like you understand that there's challenges, you acknowledge them, and then you help me, or I can see you navigating those challenges with a proactive approach.
Really?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. But from the things that you share with me, like you share with me things that, like some of the feedback you get from your students once in a while, and it's so steeped in seemingly, that's how I observe it, is it's so steeped in the understanding that they know that you're genuine and honest to the point where they take an action to like validate that. I don't know if you see that or not, because that's like, I feel like a lot of the things are like, oh yeah, Peter's a good guy because Peter does what he says he's going to do. And like, he did a lot of work to do that. So yeah, don't discount yourself on that, because I see it all over the place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What Todd's referring to is that every now and again, if I get a message from a student, sometimes I call them wins. That's my fuel in life. And sometimes I'll share them with people. And if they're related to what Todd and I have been talking about, sometimes I'll share them with Todd. And this week I had a student who I would not guess would sit down and write a poem. Wrote a poem to and about me, and it brought me to tears.
That's pretty bad.
He shared it with me at the end of his semester from his class, and I shared that with Todd. That's one of the things he's referring to. So, yeah, thank you.
I didn't mean to spill the beans, but
no, you're good. You're good.
Peter tells me everything about all these kids. The craziest thing. I was going to go ahead. I was going to go one more point.
I was just going to say, when it comes to staying consistent with other things, it's a different answer, but we can dive into that. With a different question at a different time.
When you first started talking about why you strive to be consistent, or maybe the delta or the conflict between why you feel uncomfortable with other people and when they do that, or you perceive they do that to you, as opposed to what you inspire or hope to do with other people, I thought to myself immediately, when I see people who are too consistent, it's almost as if I have to meet their expectation in order to communicate with them. And I wonder, like, have you ever thought about that? Has somebody ever said to you, I just can't meet, like, this is too much, like your consistency is too much?
I worry about that. Part of the reason that I worry about being viewed as an optimist or a very positive person is because I think sometimes you might be a fountain for people, and you might be picking people up. But at the same time, they might see you as a little unrelatable, and they won't go to you or share with you their challenges in their life, because they don't want to bring you down. And I want to be a person that people say, I can go to him and share with him what I'm challenged with in my life, and I'm not worried about ruining his optimism because he's unflappable or because he is a realist.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's a good delineation there. Yeah, thank you for that. That clears that red. All right. What are we on, number 5? I don't even know.
We don't have to worry about numbers. We'll do as many as we can until the time runs out.
Let's roll.
What is the most impactful relationship you've ever had, and why?
Does duration matter?
Nope.
I would say the relationship I have with my dad's parents. So it's 2 people, but specifically my dad's dad. Like, he taught me a lot of the things that I feel like have translated, or I don't know, like paved the way as an example for the way that I am now most often. So when I look back at myself, I think I learned that from that guy over there. That's pretty impactful. How about you?
Unlike you, I had 24 hours to think about this before answering it, and I used all 24 of those hours to think about it. And I think the true and honest answer is the relationship with myself.
Ooh.
During my middle school and high school years, I loathed things about myself. I had a very unhealthy relationship with myself. My self-perception, the lack of confidence, the lack of self-belief, all these things about myself, I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And now I'm closer than I've ever been. And it's an amazing feeling.
I bet.
I think many episodes ago, we were talking about self-love, and you asked me if I love myself, and I said I do. And that's true. And to go from loathing myself to loving myself, it's been a long process.
Yeah.
But the relationship I have with myself is the most impactful I've ever had. And now that it is a place where I'm really psyched about it, it opens up so much for me to be available to other people and to help them. So that's my answer, is my relationship with myself.
It's good. Solid. Sounds like a journey worth embarking upon. Congratulations.
If you could relive one moment of your life for the rest of your life, anytime you wanted, what moment would you pick?
I don't know. You go.
It was the summer of 2008. I was riding my bike across the United States of America. I was in the middle of the country in Podunk, Scott City, Kansas. It was my 30th birthday, and I walked out of the grocery store, and my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, was standing there, unbeknownst to me, surprised me in a way that I've never been surprised, and said happy birthday. And she'd been in contact with my buddy. We were like 600 miles further down the route than she expected. So she had set up a plan to fly into Colorado, because that's where we were supposed to be around my birthday. Rented a car and drove east to catch up with us. And we hung out for 24 hours. It took us 0 the next day, so no miles. And we went to Dairy Queen. We went to a Mexican restaurant, and we went to the local park. And it was an amazing moment in my life that I'll never forget. And if I could pick one to relive, that would probably be the one.
Yeah. What'd you get at Dairy Queen?
So I'm the type of guy that once I get something I like, I stick with it.
Yeah. Surprise. And then what was it?
No, I don't know of anyone in the world that gets this other than me. I go Dairy Queen, medium blizzard, the vanilla ice cream with M&Ms and sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles.
Wow.
Sugar on sugar on sugar.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go with the sugar, you might as well go triple.
The headache special.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to think about it and give you on another episode, but bring it back up, because that's like, yeah, I mean, obviously you had 24 hours to think about it, but
yeah,
that's a tough
lot of thinking that one.
Yeah.
So this is another same type of question. The scariest thing you've ever done?
I think I already had this question once. Remember I told you about that guy's house that I went into and I was supposed to meet him there, and somebody stole his cell phone? That was it. I don't remember what episode that was, but that was...
He was packing heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, "What are you doing in my house?" I'm like, "Uh-oh, I'm coming out of his house and he's coming into his house and he's asking me, why are you here?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been, I think, a couple times in my life where I was quite certain there was a legitimate chance that I could die. One of them was I tried to take a shortcut on a hiking path in the Swiss Alps. Another one was a camping episode with my high school buddies, and I won't get into the details of that one. And stop me if I've shared this, Todd, but the scariest moment of my life was when I put my inebriated buddy in a rowboat, pushed him in the middle of a pond.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
I think last time you said that one, or the one where you and Jen got in an accident.
Jen and I went upside down in a car. That was one of the three. Yeah. And then another time we were in I kid you not, this is not an exaggeration. We were in a regular sized minivan with 16 people in Vietnam. It was
packed.
It was a 6-hour ride, and they just kept picking up people after people after people.
Were they all inside, or did some sit on the roof of the hood?
No, they were all inside.
Wow.
It was so picture a regular minivan. There was someone sitting in between the driver and the door, and then there was 3 other people going across the front, and then in the back seat, and Jen and I were 2 of those 3 people in the very front seat because we were the biggest. And then picture someone standing on the floor behind each of the seats, leaned over like the front people's seats, and then people sitting in the seats behind them.
Wow.
And then a whole bunch of people.
Because like a regular minivan's like what, 7 to 9? I would think 9 at the top end, right?
Yeah, and there was like infants in there, and this minivan was decked out with beads and all sorts of like disco, and then the guy was pumping like rave music, and he was downing one Red Bull after another and smoking one cigarette after another.
Oh man,
the music was blasting, and it was midnight, and he was falling asleep at the wheel. And
why did you get
I'd hit him on the leg. I'd hit him on the leg and be like, we were going to a town called Balak, and I was like, I hit him on the leg and be like, Balak, and he'd look at me and like get angry, and then he'd like slam on the gas, and he'd like fly up through these, and every kilometer was marked with a granite marking on the side of the road. And I just remember counting down, like, oh my God, we're 60 away. Like, can we just get there? And Jen was sitting there with her eyes closed, praying to God the entire time.
Wow.
She was convinced. And I said to Jen, it's like, so our choices are, we can ask him to let us out here, truly in the middle of nowhere in the black. Like there wasn't any, like, street lights or anything.
Or we could take it. Yeah.
Or we can roll the dice and try to get to where we need to get to. And where he dropped us off, it was just this little tiny town that had one little hotel, and that's where we ended up staying. But we ended up making it. But it's really scary to be in a car with someone who is actively falling asleep as they're driving.
Yeah. I experienced a similar situation. I remember one time, I might have told this story too. I don't know. One time, me and my son were headed to Canada in a car my grandpa gave me. It's an old car. It's an 83. And I was driving it there, and it broke down at the Peace Arch. So the Peace Arch is the main entrance from Washington State to British Columbia, Canada, above Seattle. And it broke down there, and I had to get a tow truck. And because I was in limbo at the border, it had to be a Washington side tow truck. So I called AAA, it's this tow truck company, anyways. And I got in the car with this guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to take you to the next town because this town's not good." And I just got like this crazy feeling, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Like that was the same situation. Like maybe to take my car off here, and I wrote it out and it worked, but I definitely had some there were some red flags going off. But yeah, that was weird. But
dude, 16 people in that minivan and a scooter, like a motorized scooter in the back.
Oh,
we pulled over and picked up like two people that were riding a scooter, and we're like, oh, that's what are we going to do now?
Just put the scooter
with the two people and the scooter inside the minivan. Yeah, it was crazy. Ooh. Vietnam was a different world,
I suppose.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah.
Different. All right, next question.
Yeah.
How do you find a way to motivate yourself when you are the least motivated?
I've been working on this one a lot recently. Procrastination is a problem that comes with attention deficit disorder, like bad. I told you before about my taxes, like they might happen a year later, blah, blah, blah. What I've found, and I've known this for a long time, what I learned the first time, and it really worked a lot, but I lost the habit, was the 5-second rule. And sometimes it pops up. So if you know you need to do something, you got 5 seconds, count down, and start moving at one. No questions asked. I use that a lot, actually, when I'm working out or I'm lifting heavy weights. I'm like, get back to the bar. You have 5 seconds to get over there. And so
you count down from 5 to 1. And once you get to 1, you go.
When I'm at 1, I better have my hands on it, or I've done something wrong.
Now, does that work when you're like lazy on the couch? You're like, I got to go do dishes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It does work. It does work. But what I've done now, that works, and it's a different tool, but it's almost the same thing. It's the 5-minute rule. So I will start something that I do not want to do, and I will do it for 5 minutes. And if at that point in time I don't want to do it anymore, then I don't do it anymore. But at least it gets me motivated, because a lot of times what I trip up on with procrastination is it just looks like it's such a large task that I don't ever want to start it, because it just is monolithic. But if I start for 5 minutes, I start to realize, oh, I can tear this thing apart, and actually I get a lot further in 5 minutes than I thought I would have done, and I've already waited for 2 months. So yeah, that's my answer.
I do love the 5-minute rule for anything. Just do 5 minutes, and you can quit anytime you want after 5 minutes, but you do have to.
Yep.
I was talking to one of my best friends on the phone yesterday. He goes, so I tried your 5-minute rule. He goes, I really, really, really didn't want to go to the gym, but I went to the gym, drove all the way over there. And after 5 minutes, I said, nope. And I got in my car and drove home. I was like, hey, you did your 5 minutes. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stick to your guns.
Part of how I do it is, and we've talked about this in the past too, is leaning on the habits. So if I wait for the motivation, it's never going to happen, because I'm just not motivated. So to have those habits in place, at this time, I always do this thing, whether I want to or not. At this time, I always do this thing, whether I want to or not. And, something as small as like Camden shared in many episodes ago, like he started with brushing his teeth. Like he's like, I'm gonna brush my teeth more per day than I was doing before. Maybe I was doing it once per day. Now I'm gonna do it twice per day, or whatever it is that he was doing. And I think at some point we have to have a level of mental resolve that says it doesn't matter how I'm feeling, I need to do this thing. And like, where do we find that mental resolve? And that's kind of the motivation piece, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's having the habits in play, so when the motivation wanes, those things still happen.
Yeah. And what will happen that's interesting.
But so like this past week has been a really good example of that, is I work out on these days at these times.
Mm-hmm.
And I I'm trying to listen to my body and trying to be better about not putting myself in the hole. And I had a lot of stuff going on with my body that I'd never experienced before and I was very unfamiliar with. And I thought taking time off of working out would be a good choice. So then it's like, well, what do I fill that time with?
That was my next question.
I normally, and it's not good is where it goes. Like I ended up, I don't even have a Netflix account, but I texted my brother and said, hey, can I have your login information?
Nice.
And I got in and watched some stuff that didn't benefit me in any way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go well. So holding to those habits is so important when I feel unmotivated. And once those break, then it's kind of a different answer. And it goes back to the smallest viable piece.
Yep.
It's like, what's the small thing I can do to get started?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see I'll be interested to see how that evolves as you get older. But it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously being a family man, like with a 7-year-old, like things don't always happen at the right time or on the scheduled time.
Said. Yep.
So what's the old saying? We plan, God laughs.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Loudly.
one little quick one to finish, not as deep as the other ones, but okay. I actually am more curious to know your answer for this than anything. If you had to make a workout with no equipment on the spot, what would you do? I think this is a student who is probably looking to do stuff at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on your level of proficiency, my answer would waver. I once at a hotel did a workout that I didn't think was going to be bad at all. And it was handstand pushups and burpees. And you start at 10 and you switch them. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 while you're going down on the other ones. And then at 10, you go back up. And it was ridiculously difficult, but yeah.
So I think I'm hearing you say 10 handstand pushups, 1 burpee.
Yep.
9 handstand pushups, 2 burpees.
Yep.
So it always equals 11, but it's just one movement is ascending and 1 is descending.
Absolutely. Yep. And then it descends and ascends itself the entire
on the
thing.
other side.
Yeah. Right.
So okay.
But anything body weight. I mean, obviously. Yeah. I love air squats and anything that can keep. Yeah.
Yeah. So my response is, depending on the time domain of your fitness capacity, you do 1 push-up, 1 sit-up, 1 squat, and then it's called a +1 workout. So then you do 2 of each, and then 3 of each, and then 4 of each, and maybe you pick 4 minutes, maybe you pick 6 minutes, maybe you pick an hour, but just slowly adding 1 each time, and slow is steady and steady is fast. So trying to go at a pace where you don't have to take a lot of big breaks.
There's no time domain to meet, not like death by burpees, for example.
Nope. You just said I'm going to do a 6-minute workout, and I'm going to go through that as many times as I can until I hit the 6-minute cap, and that's it. For many people, push-ups is the barrier there. They'll hit a wall in their push-ups before anything else, and you just find a way to scale them so that you never hit a wall and stop. So you drop down to your knees, or you even stand up and do push-ups against a wall. But as long as you're continuing to move through it, that's a really cool way, because then you can just choose your time domain, the length of the time you can do the workout, and you don't need anything but like 9 square feet of space.
Yeah. Yeah. Also a good standard is the good old 7 minutes of burpees.
7 minutes of burpees. Yeah.
That will square anything away.
Absolutely.
I don't know about dizziness, but it'll definitely square a lot of things away.
I also like 111 burpees for time. That's been a personal
same, isn't
one.
it?
Yeah. Depending on your
same
speed.
idea. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Todd, thank you so much for sharing your Ask Me Anything responses. When I read these, I'm always curious to know what yours are going to be. And this has been a fun little thing for me, and I'm looking forward to doing it a couple times a year.
Thanks for bringing me along. That's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
To all the listeners out there, we thank you so very much for your ears. We appreciate your time. We are incredibly grateful for your attention. We are the Schooling Struggle Podcast, and we are out.
See ya.